Because this AI wouldn't know what to filter.
Miggy, the table's clean.
I'm sweeping the A's.
Oh, yeah! All right, enough of that. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Triple Threat Podcast. We are delighted to have you, and we are even more delighted with the start that the Jays have had this year.
Oh, yeah, bud. So, series with the A's, as you guys heard me sweeping. Absolutely swept them.
3-0.
Now, first two games, extra innings, got me a little worried, but we got it at the end of the day. Now, what I really want to talk about is 50 Ks in this series. That is a lot.
We have been saying this for weeks. That pitching rotation has the potential to be the best in the league.
Gausman, Cease, and Lauer
The starters
make up 32 of those Ks.
Insane. What was that stat for Gausman and Cease in the first two games?
The first duo to have 11 plus strikeouts in
Each.
the opening of the season each since 1901, I think.
120 some years.
My
125.
grandfather wasn't even a thought back then.
Not even an embryo in the womb.
So, series with Rocky. Little bit of a...
Starting a little rocky.
Yeah, starting a little rocky. Ponce did suffer a ACL strain. He will miss some time, which is unfortunate. Little had a rough outing.
Again.
You know how I feel about that guy, so I won't go too much into it. But we did win today, a solid 5-1 with Mad Max starting, so that improves the Jays to a 4-1 start to the season.
And we know it, the league knows it, the analysts know it. The Jays have a soft start to the year, schedule-wise.
Yes.
I mean, it's at the Athletics, the Athletics, the Rockies, and the White Sox.
Yeah.
So ideally, they come out of these three series with at least 6 wins.
I'm kind of hoping
Ideally.
with the sweep that we start maybe 7-2.
Yeah. But regardless, I mean, a 3-0 start is a 3-0 start. 2 walk-off base hits.
Yep.
Solid performances from our starting pitchers and a new acquisition for a starting pitcher, mind you. I mean, we all knew Cease was going to be good, but we weren't sure if it was going to fit in comfortably or whatnot. But yep. I think
he fits in.
I think he fits in. And I think with the defense that he's got behind him, I mean, that catch from Davis Schneider.
Yeah. Insane.
I think Cease is happy where he is, and I am looking forward to this year.
Now, later, me and you will be talking about the umps and the ABS challenge and everything that's around that. I do want to state that Mike Trout, there was a lot of doubters last year. He is a very injury-prone player. He is showing the doubters and the haters wrong at the beginning of this season. He is putting on a hitting clinic. I don't have the numbers on me right now, but he is
red hot.
Yeah. Like, pitchers are not able to stop him. I do want to also point out 2 people that are having an incredibly rough start. Now, as a Blue Jays fan, this one kind of sucks. Bo Bichette is having a rough start, being 2 hits out of 19 at-bats, 1 run, 3 RBIs after 4 games. That is rough.
I mean, I know as a Jays fan, we all love Bichette, or loved at the very least, but it's a sick kind of good feeling when he kind of turned his back on us, and this is the start that he's having. I mean, don't mind you, I feel bad for him, but a part of my heart, part of my soul kind of has the that's what you deserve mentality right now.
Now, another player that is rough, and we were actually talking about this, and you were saying how the outfield wasn't helping them. And as I started naming more and more stats, you were like, okay.
Good old Skeens.
Skeen has had a rough game. He pitched 0.2 innings.
Didn't even get out of the first inning.
37 pitches and not even a full inning. He sustained 4 hits, 5 earned runs, which you're like, okay, maybe the outfield didn't help him. 2 base on balls, so that's 8 pitches at least right there, and 1 hit by pitch. So 9 of his 37 pitches, not even, if you add the 4 hits, 13 of his 37 pitches resulted to someone on base.
I wanted to defend him. I really did. I wanted to be like, oh, if an outfielder doesn't catch a ball or makes a bad play, if they don't touch the ball, it's not an error.
Yeah.
But that's bad.
So 13 resulted into 7 people reaching base. So
within an inning is insane.
Yeah, so obviously he's a much better pitcher than that.
Mm-hmm.
Rough start. He will lower down. Now the people are going to look at his ERA and see a 67.5. Don't believe that. He had a rough outing. He's going to come back. After all, it is Skeens. He may not be to the Cy Young, but he will go back to the between 2 and 4 ERA like he usually are.
He's good enough as a starting pitcher that he will balance out this game with time.
The Blue Jays did also make a trade after Game 3.
Mm-hmm.
They received infield Dub Glee and some signing international bonus money.
Yeah.
And the Marlins received Leo Jimenez. Sorry, other Jimenez. This is kind of I think a player-to-player move. You think there's a little bit more say into it?
If I remember the article I read a couple days ago, it's essentially just a roster size move. Like, the roster basically came down in the last few days of deciding if Davis Schneider would make the roster or if Jimenez would make the roster. And Schneider made it. The Jays didn't need Jimenez, and I don't think they could really sort of send him down to the minors or anything. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is basically just that, hey, we don't have room for you on this team. We'll ship you off to a team that might, and in return, we'll get a guy that we can send to the minors and develop. Yeah. Like, it's not really we're trying to get something out of a trade, more just like hey, we can't hang on to you.
Yeah.
And, we're a business. We can't just let you walk for free. So
now, there's no undefeated teams. But
correct me if I'm wrong, there were 5
yesterday
3-0 teams.
Yeah, and they all lost yesterday. So there's no battle to see who's going to stay the longest. But there is a defeated team.
An unwinning team?
I just call it defeated at this. So basically, the A's start of the season, as of right now, as I'm currently speaking, is 0-4. Now, Chris, I see that you looked up the stats for Mike Trout.
Yes, I did. I had him just here.
Would you like to share with the class how dominant he started this season so far?
He's on a tear. So, to start the season, he has had 17 at-bats. He is batting .353, which, for the sample size that we have, is great. He has 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, a .706 slugging, and a 1,248 OPS. This is vintage stuff. Like, this is top quality stuff. He's there, and he's in the first 5 games of the season. He's been walked 6 times too.
So his pitch,
his plate discipline is there. It's not just that he's on a hot streak just catching the ball at the right angle. No. He's actively controlling this success.
Do you think this is finally his actual comeback year that they've been saying for the last 3 to 4 years?
I have a hard time saying yes to that 5 games into the season. But if he can keep anything close to this, yes.
Okay, so how about we do this? We put a pin in it, and in about 3 to 4 episodes, we come back and see if he's still producing.
If Trout is still producing in 3 to 4 weeks, I would probably put money on him producing for the rest of the season.
You know what? I would probably take you on that too.
I mean, the first game of the year in 4 at-bats against the Houston Astros, he had 3 hits, a home run, an RBI, and a walk. Insane start to the year.
Yep.
But that's all I got on Trout for the time being. So the Jays are in the middle of the series with the Rockies.
Yep.
They just won tonight. What was it? 5-1.
5-1. So tomorrow will be their last game.
Yeah. They play the Rockies at 11 a.m. our time tomorrow.
And I think Gosman's pitching.
Gosman
is pitching.
Yeah, the Gosman is pitching. After the series with the Rockies, it's a little bit of a weird one. The Jays play a 3-game series against the White Sox. So they play Thursday, but then they have Friday off.
And they play Saturday,
Sunday. And then they play Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
So they have a break in the middle of a series, which is a little odd to me. I would expect the schedulers to put the breaks in between series, not in the middle of a series, but regardless. Jays are 4-1 now after tonight's win. My bias wants them to end this 3-series, 9-game start at 8-1. I think they're very, very capable of it, but baseball is baseball, and there are no guarantees.
Yep.
Other than that, we've got teams like the Dodgers and the Brewers and the Yankees all at 4-1 doing their stuff. Or sorry, the Yankees are 3-1. They haven't played their 5th game.
Now, talking about no guarantees, let's switch to the league that everything is guaranteed.
Oh, man. As a basketball and NBA fan, I hate that so much is already set in stone.
Don't even get me started. I got 2 teams confirmed in the playoffs now.
The dichotomy between the NHL playoff picture and the NBA playoff picture is so stark. So in the NBA, for you folks out there, I've said it before, but I'll say it again, they use a play-in tournament playoff rule. Top 6 teams in each conference get guaranteed playoff spots. Seeds 7 through 10 are technically in the playoffs, but they have a mini play-in tournament. The top 10 teams in each conference have already been decided. They are just fighting for seeding and just fighting to stay either out of the play-ins or not get any further down. Which means the bottom 5 teams in each conference are already eliminated. You could very easily just start the playoffs today. Mind you, the playoffs start in a week and a half. They start the last regular season games for the NBA are April 12th. So all the teams are final 6 to 8 games of the year. Most teams kind of know where they're gonna end. I think the top 3 teams in the East, which is the Detroit Pistons, the Boston Celtics, the Cleveland Cavaliers, or is it the Knicks? It's one or the other. The top 3 teams in the East, they are guaranteed a top 6 spot.
Yep.
Top 2 teams in the West, the Thunder and the Spurs, they are guaranteed a top 6 spot. And everybody else is just fighting for either play-in positioning or being out of the play-ins. Before I get more into that, some scores from this past week. Mainly the games that I had mentioned on our last episode about games I want to watch. This past Tuesday, Denver versus Phoenix. I expected this one to be a fun one, a tight one. Not like this, though. Denver wins 125 to 123. Jokic, 23 points, 17 rebounds, 17 assists. Massive game from him. It took the Nuggets until 11 and a half seconds left in the fourth quarter to win this game. And it was Nikola Jokic who made the go-ahead basket. Jamal Murray had 21 points, 6 assists. Devin Booker for Phoenix, 22 points, 8 assists. This game was tied with 30.5 seconds left after Devin Booker tied it. This was a fun one. This is two solid Western Conference contenders going at it. Tuesday didn't really have much else in terms of important games, but we did have some solid performances from Donovan Mitchell. He had 42 points in the win over Orlando. Banchero in the same game had 36 points. Past Wednesday, OKC versus Boston. So it's a game that I wanted to pay attention to just because OKC's top of the West. Boston is fighting for that top of the East. Boston comes out with a win, 119 to 109. This game was also important because OKC was on a 12-game winning streak leading up to this game. And Boston comes in and snaps it. SJ, great game from him, 33 points and 8 assists. But on the other side of the court, Jaylen Brown, 31 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. And Jason Tatum, still coming back from his Achilles injury, so still not at 100%. 19 points and 12 rebounds.
And that's not at 100%.
No,
right?
no, that's 80-85%. Like Boston is so good without Tatum that
he has time to recover.
He has time to recover and time to get back in with the Celtics still winning. Houston versus Minnesota. This was a fun game, not just because, you're a Minnesota fan, Miggy, but because Houston and Minnesota are dogfighting in that 3rd through 6th spot in the West.
Trying to prove who's better and get that placement.
Get those games in. Minnesota comes out with the overtime victory. 110 to 108.
Ooh, spicy game.
This game, down to the wire again. Not just overtime. It took until 8.8 seconds left in overtime with Julius Randle hitting a go-ahead bucket. That basket from Julius Randle also capped off the 15-0 run that Minnesota went on to win this game.
15-0.
Minnesota went down 13 points in overtime. Mind you, overtime in the NBA is 5 minutes. That's it. And in those 5 minutes, if you don't get hot or go on a run, you probably just lose the overtime. Like, there's not a lot of time to go back and forth. Minnesota went down 13 points in overtime, ran off 15 straight points to win with less than 10 seconds left. Since more definite stats like this have been kept or sort of been tracked, this is the largest overtime comeback since 97. In the 30 years that sort of overtime and end of the game statistics have really been kept track of, runs and all that stuff, this is the largest comeback.
That's insane.
So Minnesota had a fantastic game. Houston, Kevin Durant had 30 points, 8 assists. Smith Jr. was 16 points, 12 rebounds. Alperen Sengun, 30 points. And Amen Thompson, 11 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. For Minnesota, Julius Randle, great game from him. 24 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. McDaniels, 25 points. Rudy Gobert, 14 and 14 game points and rebounds. Naz Reid, 14 points, 13 rebounds. This was a Western clash for quite literally the record books. Wednesday's top performers that weren't included in the games I spoke of, Nikola Jokic nearly had a 20-20-20 triple-double.
Yeah,
he was 1 assist on. He had 23 points, 21 rebounds, and 19 assists in a 142 to 135 victory over Dallas. In that same game, Jamal Murray had 53 points.
Yeah, we know who he was assisting.
Right? Luka Doncic, in a 137 to 130 win over the Indiana Pacers, had 43 points. And Wemby had 19 points, 15 rebounds, 7 blocks in the Spurs' 123 to 98 victory over Memphis.
All right.
So Wednesday was a good day for basketball. So top performers, some exciting, closely contested games. And then we get to this past Thursday. I, as a more than semi-casual fan of the NBA, could not find an important game this past Thursday. If I remember correctly, there were 3 or 4 games on Thursday. None of them really meant anything. The teams that won were supposed to win, and the seeding implications were not that great. Our top performers from Thursday, DeMar DeRozan, 33 points and 11 assists in a Sacramento loss to Orlando, 121 to 117. I feel bad for DeMar DeRozan. He's still got juice in the tank, but that Sacramento team is bad. Jalen Duren for Detroit, 30 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 129 to 108 win over the New Orleans Pelicans. Shout out to the New Orleans Pelicans, though. They've been bottom feeders all year. They're already eliminated from the playoffs, but they've been performing as of late. It's a little too late, but
at the end of the season, though, like you look at that and you're like, oh, they could maybe carry this into next year.
Is this their players finally figuring it out, or was this just they sort of relaxed because they're already out of the playoffs? You know,
maybe.
It's past Friday, a game that had more significance for one team than the other. Atlanta versus Boston. Boston, this game didn't really matter a whole lot, but Atlanta, this was kind of a must-win, just to keep them at the time not just in the play-ins, but also to keep trying to climb the play-ins. Boston won 109 to 102. Jalen Johnson for Atlanta, however, had a great game. 29 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Boston was carried by Peyton Pritchard, 36 points. Jason Tatum had 26 points with 12 rebounds.
Okay.
So Tatum he's getting back into it. He's having his games. I think Jaylen Brown sat for this game, so Boston was a little undermanned, but that team is good. They come out with the win. The other game for Friday that I wanted to take a look at was Miami versus Cleveland. This, again, at the time, seeding hadn't been set. Miami still technically could have dropped out of the play-ins at the time. Cleveland is also still kind of fighting for that seeding, top of the East, whatnot. Yep. Cleveland wins this game wire to wire. They never trailed. Cleveland wins 149 to 128. They led by as many as 36 points.
So pretty dominant performance from the Heat.
From the Cavaliers.
From the Cavaliers,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. This was a no-doubt win. Just a whole game. Which is really good for Cleveland because I didn't mention it, but this past Wednesday, Cleveland and Miami played as well. Miami actually came out with a 120 to 103 win. So Cleveland bounced back.
So this was kind of the revenge game.
Yeah. This was, I wouldn't say a grudge match, but this was kind of a bounce back, a feel good, you know? Bam Adebayo for Miami had 14 points and 16 rebounds. Unfortunately, that was their best performer. That's it. Cleveland, on the other hand, Evan Mobley, 23 points, 10 rebounds. Jared Allen, 18 points, 10 rebounds. James Harden, 17 points, 14 assists. Max Struss, 29 points on 8 made three-pointers. This was a dominant win.
Yep.
And a bit of a message to the rest of the East, because I think this kind of sent the message of the top of the East, compared to the playing teams, is quite staggering. Like the top of the East is good, and those playing teams, if they're going to want any chance,
they need to play good.
They need to play up. The top performers from Friday that weren't mentioned in these two games: Luka Doncic had 41 points. Jokic had 33 points, 12 assists, and 15 rebounds. Jamal Murray had 31 points and 14 assists. Good games from those guys. Doncic and Jokic have already been mentioned a few times. MVP frontrunners.
And Doncic have been making a case lately.
Yes. This Lakers team was considered bottom of the playoff standings.
Yeah.
they are currently third
Yeah.
in the West. And they are hot. Past Saturday, Detroit versus Minnesota. It was top of the East against a Minnesota team who needed a win. And unfortunately, they did not.
Yeah, we did not get a win.
Did not perform too well. Detroit 109, Minnesota 87. A defensive game. Detroit led by as many as 24 points. This was a balanced scoring game from Detroit. Their top scorer was Tobias Harris with 18 points.
So everybody was in on it.
Everybody was in. Tobias Harris with 18 points. Jalen Duren with 10 points and 13 rebounds. In total, Detroit had 7 players in double figures. On Minnesota's side, Rudy Gobert, 14 points, 12 rebounds. Dante DiVincenzo with 22 points. Top performers from Saturday, Jalen Green for the Suns. He had 31 points in a win over Utah. And Josh Giddey, listen to the stat line. 18 points, 10 assists, 13 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 blocks.
That's a hell of a game.
In a loss to Memphis.
Yeah, I'm drinking whiskey after that game.
He put his heart into that game. And I mean, Chicago is now out of the playoffs, which unfortunately for your prediction, it was the Bulls versus the Grizzlies, 2 teams out of the playoffs. He put up a great game, and his team still couldn't win.
I just want to state, I did say before that I do not know basketball at all. I even named them the wrong team, I think, before saying.
Oh, most likely. Ooh, okay. We're on to the Sunday games, and I'm going to go over my favorite game from this past week. Toronto versus Orlando. Belt to ass. Toronto wins this game 139 to 87. You know, it's a shame we're not on video right now because I would love to frame Jay's face right about now.
His face is 1,000 words right now.
Toronto, in this game, Toronto won by 52 points, which is the second largest win in franchise history. They led by as many as 56 points at a time, and they went on the historic run of 31 straight points unanswered.
Yeah, they went from losing to dominating.
Orlando was up 20-14 in the first quarter, and Toronto said, "Screw that! Take 31."
To make it 20-45.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Just ran it. Scotty Barnes, 23 points, 15 assists. Those 15 assists, career high. Jamal Shed, 12 points, 10 assists. The Toronto Raptors had 8 players with 11 or more points.
Talk about a team effort.
Sandro Mamukalashvili, 19 points, plus 47.
So not a lot was getting past him when he was on the field.
Oh no. No. He put up numbers and he kept Orlando from putting up any numbers. Orlando's big name player, Paolo Banchero, I think he had less than 9 points. This was a stomp, and it felt so good.
As a fan, when you get beat this bad, it's so what's the word? Disappointing, depressing. But then when you flip the table, it's such a oh yeah, bud.
It feels so good. And this game had playoff standing implications too. Toronto has been kind of struggling the last few weeks to get consistent wins to keep themselves in that 5th seed out of the play-ins. And Orlando's been searching for wins to get out of the play-ins. So this was an important game.
And Orlando just didn't show up.
Yeah, it just so happened that Toronto said, "Screw a close game. I want my win. I want my money."
Yeah.
And just obliterated them. New York versus OKC. top of the West, the top of the West, and a solid Eastern Conference team. OKC wins 111-100. Karl Anthony Towns, 15 points, 18 rebounds, not bad. Jalen Brunson, 32 points. SGA, 30 points. You kind of expect OKC to win, but New York's been kind of on the up and up, fighting for the top of the East there. I expected slightly closer. I was kind of expecting that New York might actually beat OKC, but OKC's a tough team to beat.
Yeah.
As we've all come to realize and understand. Some top performers elsewhere in the league on Sunday. Alperen Sengun, stat sheet stuffer. 36 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. He was everywhere in Houston's 134-102 win over New Orleans. Jason Tatum had 32 points and 8 assists in Boston's win over Charlotte. That was 114-99. Yesterday, Monday, Philadelphia versus Miami. This game was, I called it last week. This game was important because they are so close in standings in that play-ins.
Yeah.
Like, they are, I think, within 2.5 games. So they are, like, tight. Miami wins 119-109. Philadelphia is getting some of their key players back, though, from, like, injury and suspension and whatnot. Joel Embiid had 26 points and 7 rebounds. So, with Philadelphia being guaranteed at least a play-in spot, they can get Embiid and Paul George back. Maybe we see them do something in the play-ins, possibly the playoffs. We'll leave that up for that time. Tyrese Maxey, 23 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists. Good games from the 2 top guys from Philadelphia. Tyler Hero from Miami had 30 points. Bam Adebayo had 23 points, 16 rebounds, and 6 assists. So, solid game, solid performers. Miami gets the win to help them in their playoff seeding push against Philadelphia and those other playing teams. And the last game that I want to go over from this past week, OKC versus Detroit. 1 seed versus 1 seed again. I'll get more into this later. Cade Cunningham is still out and injured. So, Detroit was playing undermanned. But this game went to overtime. OKC wins 114-110. Paul Reed for Detroit had 21 points, 10 rebounds. SGA, however, the man of the hour, 47 points.
Damn.
And OKC needed all of those. A 4-point win over a depleted Detroit in overtime is not a great look for OKC heading into these final weeks. Irregardless, OKC hits the 60-win mark with this win.
That's pretty solid.
They hit 60 wins this year. They hit 60 wins last year. Last year, they won a championship. So, then again, the way OKC started this season, people were expecting them to potentially break the single-season wins record of 73.
I don't think they're getting.
No, they can't anymore.
Because they went on a little bit of a slump mid-season.
Yeah, but, if the 12-game win streak that I spoke about a little bit ago, they're up to 60 wins now. Top performers from elsewhere on Monday, Victor Wembanyama, 41 points, 16 rebounds, 3 blocks in a win over Chicago. Evan Mobley, 34 points, 17 rebounds, 3 blocks in a win over Utah. And Ayo Dosunmu, 18 points, 12 assists, 15 rebounds, and 3 steals in a win over Dallas. So, some good performances and some tight games from this past week for the NBA. But again, I wish it wasn't so cut and dry for the playoff picture,
You still want the little excitement of not knowing.
Well, I mean, look at the NHL.
Before we get into the NHL, I have nothing numbers-wise for NFL. We will talk about. I do have some stuff to talk about later on.
Okay.
Like we'll talk about some rumors, best off-season moves that we have, and an interesting piece of information I found out about the Jacksonville Jaguars and their 2027 season, which I'm pretty sure is the season coming up.
They'd be their 26-27, yeah.
Yeah. So, with all that, talking about playoffs and hockey, we have
the interesting playoff picture. That's what we have.
There is 2 confirmed teams in and 2 confirmed teams out.
In the whole league.
Yeah. I feel like, and that's only in the West.
Yeah, where you've got the Avs,
Stars,
and the Canucks.
Yeah. The East is so cut and dry right now that it is theoretically possible for Buffalo to not make the playoffs right now. And they are first, tied with Carolina, which actually, no, Carolina won today, so they are the first Eastern team to hit 100 points. This week has been interesting, to say the least. There are no clinch. There might not even be a full playoff picture by the end of this week, which will be like April 4th. So you might not know the whole playoff picture a week before the playoff starts.
Goodness. Before you keep going, Sabres are at 100 points. They actually hit 100 points their last game. Carolina does have a game on them, though. Both teams are at 100.
And Carolina has a game played or a game...
No, they have an extra game left.
So currently that means Hurricane would be at the top of the league.
Yes.
Of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Now, some interesting games. I already mentioned about the Carolina game last podcast, the 5-2 win Montreal. Wednesday, March 25th, Boston goes to Buffalo. I was expecting Buffalo to play with them. Boston comes out with a 4-3 win in overtime, which helps Boston in their playoff run right now.
I mean, any win would.
Now you go to Thursday, Edmonton and Vegas. These guys needed points in regulation. Edmonton 4-3 in overtime against Vegas, which is not helping them separate at all.
No, I mean, they are currently a point ahead of Vegas.
Exactly. Pittsburgh versus Ottawa. Ottawa needs the wins. It needs the points to make it in the playoffs. Pittsburgh takes it 4-3 in shootout, so they did get a point, but they
desperately need those.
They need to
2
keep
points
going.
A game.
Detroit against Buffalo. Again, Buffalo lost. Detroit won 5-2. But Detroit has been in a slump. They don't really know how to play in March. If we may roll the clip when I said they weren't going to make the playoffs on episode 8, that would be awesome, Jay. Saturday was the big day that had a lot of games that were kind of important for the playoffs. So Utah and LA. Utah were sitting comfortably in the wild card 2 spot. Teams are catching up. And this win helped them kind of keep their pace. They won 6-2 against LA. Anaheim, Edmonton, that's top of the Pacific, which is the weakest division.
The laughingstock.
Edmonton won 4-2. Washington versus Vegas. Washington needs the wins to try to maybe pull a miracle and make it into the playoffs. Washington won 5-4 in shootouts, which also helps Vegas because they need every single point they can get. Boston against Minnesota. Boston won 6-3 against Minnesota. And funny enough, tonight, they won 6-3 against Dallas. So that helps Boston with their playoff run. And then Dallas won 6-3 against Pittsburgh. So teams like scoring 6, I guess. Sunday, a rematch against Carolina and Montreal again. Montreal takes it 3-1 to make it 5 wins in a row. Montreal right now is the hottest team. Now, Montreal shouldn't have won this game.
I love my Habs, but you're right.
Dobesh was fantastic. The Montreals were outshot 35-18.
Are you sure that wasn't a Canucks game?
Now, the Habs had 18 shots. Hurricanes had 35. So it's not because Hurricane wasn't trying.
Nope.
But the issue Hurricane has is when they have a breakdown in defense or any offensive play, they are vulnerable. And the Habs took advantage of that. They're a young, fast team. Boston versus Columbus. A lot of important games for Boston this week. And this one, they shouldn't have won. They were down 3-0. And they managed to bring this back 4-3 in shootouts.
That is a steal.
Talk about stealing points.
Well, yeah. I mean, they gained 2 points that they shouldn't have, and Columbus only got one of the 2 points they should have. That is a 3-point swing.
Yeah, and with that, Columbus is also in the fight for a playoff spot.
Well, yeah. I mean, Boston, after everything they've performed this week, is up to 94 points. They're at the top of the wild card right now.
Yeah.
They're only 2 points behind the Canadiens in the Atlantic Division.
Yeah, but they also have 2 games played more, if I'm not
They have
mistaken.
1 game played more. So, okay. Montreal's hot.
Yep.
Boston is there.
Yep.
Columbus, after that, they're only at 88 points. They're 6 points behind the Bruins. Jackets are in that second wildcard spot. But like you mentioned, Ottawa, 86 points on Columbus's heels. Red Wings, 86 points on Columbus's heels. Both teams also have an extra game left compared to the Blue Jackets. So
now here's kind of my disappointing game of the week. Monday, Pittsburgh was playing New York Islanders.
Okay.
There was 8 goals scored in the second period between the two teams. Islanders went up 1-0. Went up 2-0. Pittsburgh tied it up at 2-1.
Tied it up at 2-1?
Scored to make it 2-1.
There we go.
Islanders 3-1. Thinking 3-1, they bring it into the locker room. 3-2. 3-3. 3-4. 3-5. Having a 3-1 lead, I think with 10 minutes left in the second period. And then saying, hey, we can bring this into the locker room. And 10 minutes later, you're sitting in the locker room going, what went wrong?
From up 2 to down 2.
This was an interdivisional matchup, to say the least. This doesn't help the Islanders at all. Pittsburgh wasn't supposed to do this good this year, and they're second right now with 88 points.
They're 92 points, right?
92 points.
Islanders are at 89.
And now here's a game I'm kind of mad at myself that I didn't call, and it kind of flew under my radar, was the Montreal-Columbus game.
Oh, yeah.
Has huge implication in the playoff right now. Due to the fact that Montreal won that game, Columbus is not in the top 3 for the Metropolitan Division.
Yeah.
And the Habs are still in the top 3 for the Metropolitan Division.
For the Atlantic.
For the Atlantic, sorry. That is insane. Now, I have here that Caulfield's at 46 goals. He did score tonight, so he's at 47. And McKinnon's at 49. The Habs have not had a 50-goal scorer since 1978. And no Habs have ever won the Maurice Richard Trophy. Which is kind of funny since it's named after a Hab.
Yeah.
Other milestones. Crosby gets his 1,100th assist. Other than that, I got nothing for milestone, honestly. Well, I kind of had that big build up thinking that I had more, and then I'm reading my notes.
Got to the end of your notes. And
yeah.
Well, I mean, was it Nick Suzuki? He's on pace for 100 points.
Yeah, he has 92 right now. He needs 8 and 8 for him, that's more than doable. That first line is red hot.
Mm-hmm.
So, talking about teams that could make a miracle work, because Suzuki wasn't on pace for 100. He was told that he reached the 90, but wouldn't get close to the 100 in the beginning of the year. The Jets could technically sneak into the playoffs.
Not technically. They are 1 point out of a wildcard spot. Currently.
They are sneaking into the playoffs.
They are there.
They sat in the bottom 5 for so long, and now they're sneaking into the playoffs, and no one's saying anything about it.
The middle to the bottom of the West is so bad. The Jets at 76 points.
Yeah.
Are only a point behind the Predators at 77 for that second wildcard spot. Yeah. It's insane.
So, Habs on a 6-game winning streak. They are currently the hottest team right now. And the Sharks are kind of in a slump. They're 4-6 in the last 10, but 4-9-2 in their last 15.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're falling in the ranks right now. Celebrini did get his 100th point, which is as ironic as it is, and he's not even really playing for the team, the first teammate of Carey Price to hit 100 points.
That is such an unfortunate stat.
And it's so unfortunate because if Caulfield hits 50 goals, then it's the first teammate to hit 50 goals, and then Suzuki hits 100 points, first teammate to hit 100 points the year after he gets traded.
Right.
Or the year he gets traded. So, it's a little bit of whatever. We do have a little bit of action with Golden Knights and the Leafs that I want to talk about later about their GMs, their head coaches.
Yeah.
And other than that, the PWHL had a couple little gets. You have the Fleets, like I told you last week, they kind of all played into each other, the top 3 teams. Oh, yes. Toronto lost against the Fleet 4-0. And then Fleet proceeded to beat Minnesota 4-2. So it was a rough week for Minnesota because they also lost 3-0 against Montreal. And then Montreal beat New York Sirens 3-1. So for the top 3 teams that need all the wins they can get, Minnesota didn't get a single win. They actually finished the week with -5.
Ooh.
There is a trade. So Minnesota received defenseman Jinsey Royce, and New York received forward Denisa Krysova. So that could be just Minnesota had extra defensemen, wanted to have a forward, and vice versa. New York had too many forwards, wanted a defenseman. Now, injury update, Poulin's still out, but Hillary Knight is activated from long-term injury reserve on March 29th and will resume play with the Torrent from Seattle. Other than that, for hockey, that is pretty much all I got.
Well, before we end our analytical section, I do just want to go over the NBA standings. We kind of got halfway through it already with the fact that the top 10 teams
we named like 6 teams already.
Yeah.
Might as well name all 16.
So Detroit has already clinched not just the top 6 playoff spot, but also their division, the Central Division. Boston and the New York Knicks in the East. So I was wrong. New York is actually ahead of Cleveland right now in the East. Boston, New York have clinched a top 6 spot as well. Seeds 4 through 10 in the East are all clinched at least a play-in spot. But now it's just a lot of fighting for
who wants it more.
Yeah, who wants more, who's guaranteed, and whatnot. You've got Cleveland that's only half a game behind New York. So if Cleveland gets like one more win, they're clinched a top 6 spot. But then as you go further down, you get a little closer and a little further away from those top 4. So Atlanta sits at 12 games behind Detroit. Toronto sits at 12.5 games behind Detroit. And then Philadelphia, the 7th seed, the top of the play-in, sits at 13.5 behind Detroit.
So that's still a tight race.
It is from that 5th seed. So seed 5 through 10 is 2.5 games different.
So it's anybody's ball
game.
It
is anybody's ball game out in the East for who's in the play-ins. And some of these teams have been pretty hot recently. Atlanta's 8-2 in their last 10 games. So they're there. Toronto and Philadelphia 6-4. So on the positive, but
on the winning side, but still on the average.
Charlotte, who sits in the 10th seed, they're 7-3 in their last 10.
Okay, so the bottom feeders for the playoff wise are hot, right?
Are pretty hot. Other than Orlando and Miami, who sit in the 8th and 9th seed, they're both 3-7 in their last 10.
Okay.
But like these teams that are fighting for spots, majority of them they're winning the games they should, and they're securing more wins.
What my dad would say in these situations, they are already in the playoffs.
Yeah. Now out west, OKC has guaranteed the Northwest, like they've clinched the Northwest division. San Antonio has clinched the Southwest division, and the Lakers have clinched the Pacific division. So the division leaders, mind you, winning the division doesn't really guarantee you a whole lot in the NBA. Regardless, have all been clinched. Denver in the 4th seed has clinched a top 6 spot.
So it's a little bit more settled in the West.
It's a little bit more settled. 5th and 6th, the last 2 guaranteed spots, both sit at 13.5 games behind OKC.
Yep.
7th place sits at 18 games behind. So there is a pretty distinct difference between
the playoffs and the play-ins.
The playoffs and the play-ins.
Okay.
So out west, it's a bit more, even more so, just kind of settled and kind of guaranteed on who's going to be play-ins, who's going to get guarantees and whatnot.
Yep.
Mind you, all of those games are still important for seeding, but I'm going to be keeping my eyes on that Eastern Conference play-in. That is, for being the weaker of the 2 conferences, it is tight.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how that's going forward. San Antonio is on a 9-game winning streak right now. I think that is currently the longest active. Denver's on a 6-game win streak, which is really nice for them. But I mean,
even the top teams are still rocking it.
Like they're not slowing down. I mean, San Antonio is still fighting OKC for that 1st seed. They're only 2.5 games behind, and with 6 games left, you never know. OKC, San Antonio, Lakers all 9-1 their last 10 games. Denver has come back from that slump they were in the middle of a few weeks ago. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games with a 6-game winning streak. Yeah, and the play-ins for the West is Phoenix, Clippers, Portland Trailblazers, and the Golden State Warriors. Phoenix has been struggling recently, dealing with injuries. Not Cleveland. The Clippers are still on the up and up. They are 3 games above 500 now after that starts, so look for them to push for the top of the play-in. Trailblazers are at 500. Golden State has suffered some pretty bad injuries this year.
Oh, Curry's still out.
There was a really gruesome injury last week that I sort of spoke a bit about. So the fact that Golden State has a guaranteed play-in spot is kind of impressive. But yeah, that's all I got for the NBA standings. So unless you got any other numbers written down, I think we can send our lovely audience to a quick little break.
Yeah, I think it's break time.
All right. Did you know that between the years of 2009 and 2016, former NBA player DeJounte Blair played without an ACL in either of his knees?
Now, since we're back from our break, and this sport didn't really have a chance to shine a little, let's talk about the NFL. There has been some rumors that apparently Myles Garrett from the Browns, after his record-breaking year, might get traded. Browns manager shut that down as soon as possible. Miami, there was rumors that they were trading their running back, Akane. Said, no way, Jose. There's no way we're trading him. There's rumors that Russell Wilson will retire due to lack of interest in him as a QB. Now, as a athlete myself, I feel like that would be a little shot to the heart. That's like, I understand he's 34 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He still has a couple of years in the tank, but that's still a little.
I mean, it's Russell Wilson, right? Like he's a good guy. He's been a good player and whatnot. And you want to see him get onto a team. I don't think teams are willing to give him as much as he's probably hoping for.
Yeah.
So
here's the big fact that I want to go with right now and leave my little fact later. I read an article on the NFL app. So these are what are considered the 10 best off-season moves. This is free agency signings, re-signings, trades, all that.
The whole shebang.
Yes. At number 1, Rams trade for Trent McDuffie. This boosts the Rams' weakest area defensively. Because last year, in the beginning of the year, cornerbacks were doing well for the Rams. And then during the end of the year, they became a liability. So having him there will boost the Rams greatly. Second, Baltimore signing the Trey Hendrickson deal.
Yeah.
After Max Crosby fell through because of his physical, which is also why the Rams trade is now the biggest.
Yeah, instead of that,
Baltimore,
potential.
Yeah, Baltimore had to go back to looking at an edge defender. They found Trey Hendrickson. He's not going to have a nice homecoming back to Baltimore. To Cincinnati. Because they're big rivals.
That's an understatement.
Number 3, the Chiefs signing Walker. Now, there is a rumor, take it with a grain of salt, please, for whoever's listening, that apparently Walker is regretting his decision once he found out the Chiefs were signing Justin Fields, because Justin Fields also likes to run. He is a more run-prone quarterback, so maybe the Chiefs are going to make more plays with a quarterback taking some carries instead of giving it to Walker. But like I said, take it as a grain of salt. I personally feel Walker's going to be a workhorse. There is no reason why the Chiefs would sign a guy like that and not make him be a workhorse.
The thing I worry about, though, is that outside of running with the ball, Walker struggles.
A little bit. I will agree with you.
He's not
his pass blocking is a little iffy.
His pass blocking is a bit iffy. He's not a great receiver. So I'm not quite sure what the plan is, if they're going to take runs away from him, if it's going to be more of decoy sets and fake handoffs.
Maybe.
Because I understand the vision of a heavy running running back and heavy running quarterback as a built-in dual threat. It's just the fact that as good as Walker is, he doesn't have much outside of running.
And at number 5, you actually have a pass rusher reunited with the same head coach that he had in the Jets, but now as a Titan. John Franklin Myers gets signed with the Titans. And the Titans just got a new head coach, which when Myers was with the Jets was the same head coach.
Yeah.
So there's already, the head coach already knows the player, knows what he can do, knows what situation that he plays well in, what he doesn't play well in. So that could help Tennessee greatly.
Familiarity is an underrated almost skill in sports. So I think you're right.
Now, the next two will kind of confuse you. The Dolphins signed Malik Willis. Will help them kind of rebuild the team they were a couple of years back. And he's a lot cheaper than Tua.
Mm-hmm.
At number 6, Falcons signing Tua. So he is injury prone, but when he's not injured, he is
He's good. Yeah.
He's good, healthy. It's just that he's injury prone. He has the experience. LA has a lot of young talent that an experienced quarterback like Tua can help bring to light. But that's why I see you slightly confused, because 5 and 6 kind of contradict themselves.
It's not that I'm confused. It's just that I have to hold back my laughter, because you always hear about win-win trades.
Yeah.
Right? But when you have a situation like this where it's like, oh yes, this team won because they got rid of this guy, but this team also won because they got the same guy. Yeah. It's like, okay, so was he the problem or not?
Yeah. Now, number 7, San Francisco signing Mike Evans. Me and you both knew the minute we saw that was going to be a big piece. 49ers did lose a lot of receivers. Apparently, Ayuk may not be coming back. And a couple of the rookies also aren't, so they need the experience and talent that Evans has.
Yeah.
He is slightly injury prone, but again, like Tua, when he's not injured, he is phenomenal. Pats signing Romeo Doubs. When the Pats let Diggs go, they kind of had to get someone. Doubs was right there. I don't know how he's going to do. We'll have to keep our eye out on him.
It's a downgrade, but it's a spot you have to fill.
Now, this one I kind of mentioned to you earlier, and even you were like, how did we not see this? The Steelers trading for Pittman Jr. One, it makes that location a lot more favorable for QBs. Because right now they're struggling to even find a QB that will stay there.
Yeah.
2, and this one flew above both of our heads, I think. He is now paired up as receiver duos with Metcalf.
I don't think I could name a quarterback who wouldn't want a receiving core like that.
That's going to be a top receiver duo this year. Whether you want that as a hot take or not.
As long as Pittsburgh gets a QB who can put it in their hands, they'll be fine.
Yeah. Now, there is some rule changes. I don't fully understand them, but for who listens and fully understands them, I will.
If anybody else listening wants to comment on these rule changes, you go right ahead. We will take it.
Rule change number 1. Permit the kicking team to declare an onside kick at any time during the game. Now, what changes from that is only the losing team could attempt an onside kick before. Now, even the winning team could.
I didn't even know that was a rule.
Yeah. So, rule number 2 that's changing. Eliminate the kicking team's incentive to intentionally kick the ball out of bounds when kicking off from the 40-yard line. Now, this prevents teams from bypassing the league's revamped kickoff setup while improving competitive balance. Basically, if I understand this right, is when you get to the 50-yard line, if you kick the ball out of bounds, you get penalty, and it gets brought up closer.
Yeah.
I think they're taking that out where if you kick it out, it's wherever it lands out. Yeah, like on the kickoff.
Okay.
I think, but I'm not too sure.
I don't know. The wording on that's a little weird.
I'm going to do a little bit more research on this, and the next episode maybe clarify a little bit more.
I think we can circle back to it.
Modifying the kickoff alignment requires for a receiving team to set up the zone. The proposal tweaks how the receiving team lines up, mainly adjusting how many players are on the restraining line and how the rest are spaced. So they kind of just messing with the formation of the kickoff return. So that one,
how many players need to line up where?
Yeah. Now this one you seemed to be interested in by it when I mentioned it to you earlier. For 2026, allow the NFL officiating department to correct clear and obvious misses by on-field official that impact the game. So in the event of work stoppage involving officials represented by the NFL Referees Association. So what that kind of, you said that sounds like if a NFL ref was to miss a call, that the NFL Refereeing Association or whatever it's called could call them up and be like, "Look, you missed a call. It's a fucking penalty."
Yeah. Well, it's just an extra safety net, just to give more guarantee of a correct
Yeah.
call, especially on, like they said, a blatant miss that they can't do anything about immediately. So
now
I like it.
also Rule 5 kind of goes with the refs as well. Allow league personnel to consult with on-field official when considering disqualification for both flagrant football acts and non-football acts without being called onto the field. So that kind of deals with, I'm thinking, like suspension, bans, getting kicked out of the games, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep with the rules. Next week, I will try to kind of do a little bit more research to clarify. I didn't have time. I kind of spotted this right before the podcast. So I figure I'd just get it out there. For the people who do know, though, that'd be kind of fun if you guys can maybe comment and educate us instead of us kind of educating and showing you guys.
Just going into this a bit blind.
Yeah, so that's kind of on me. But here's the fun fact that I found. The Jacks will be playing in Orlando in their 2027 season due to stadium renovations.
Oh, okay.
So their stadium is getting renovated. So all home games for the Jacksonville Jaguars will be played in Orlando. So do you think that will affect the home crowd? Or do you think everybody that's in Orlando is just going to be like, hooray, we get football and don't have to drive to Jacksonville?
I mean, it is so coin flippy. I'm almost more interested in seeing how the team's players
are going to react
to it, and especially any sort of like long tenured ones.
Yeah.
Because we've seen it in the NBA a couple of times, and especially during COVID when the NBA had to go to Disney and stuff. But whenever a team has to temporarily change locations, you've heard players say it never feels like we have a home game.
Yeah.
Like it feels like we're away here and we're away everywhere else. So I'm more interested in if that is going to stay consistent with it. As for the fans, I mean, any fan would be happy if, an out-of-city team is suddenly playing extensive games in your city.
Oh, 100%. Right? If the Habs were coming to Saskatoon for a season,
for
I have season tickets.
Right? Within a heartbeat. I feel bad for the fans located in Jacksonville, because now you have to actually travel to see your team, but it's good for the Orlando fans, right?
Now, with that being said, we mentioned 2 rule changes for the referees in NFL. For the people at home, Chris loves the ABS challenge that the MLB has this year. They're at a 50% success rate, so it's pretty even on players calling it and it not being overturned, and players calling it and being overturned. You can't have more than 50%.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pass the mic to Chris, and he has a couple of choice words for the following
umpires.
Umpires
is the term that we are incentivized to use. The amount of power that has gone to some of these people's heads is crazy. I mean, we've seen it for years in the MLB, alluding to a certain Angel Hernandez, even.
Oh, yeah.
You look at...
He's notorious.
You look at the NHL. You look at even the NBA or the NFL or the CFL. Or officiating is respected. Not liked, but respected. You go to something like rugby. Those officials, highest form of respect. Those are the kind of officials that'll grab players to the side, talk to them as people, figure shit out, and get going with the game. MLB umpires have so much ego
and pride
that they are essentially threatening to boycott the MLB, because their little feelings are too hurt because this ABS system is holding them accountable.
Yeah.
You have umpires like, was it CB Buckner, going on social media.
Yeah, he's the latest
victim. The latest one, to complain about, oh, I missed a call and I'm being embarrassed in front of fans. And I have to laugh at that. You are there to do a job and you got it wrong, and you can't admit that you got it wrong. You're gonna get laughed at.
As well as, in my opinion, them pushing back this hard against ABS just proves how much it is needed.
That's right.
Like, and that's talking about a guy who, an episode or two ago, was actually defending the umps about the ABS, and now, as Jay just said, this proves that we need it with how much pride and ego these refs have.
Human error is unavoidable. That is just a fact, and that is fine. We have all played sports knowing this.
Yes.
We, players, athletes, parents, kids, we play sports and watch sports knowing that there is a human error aspect that is unavoidable.
Well, because just talk to you two. You guys watch me watch the Montreal game earlier, and I was yelling at the TV.
Yeah. Nobody, or I shouldn't say nobody, 99.99 whatever percent of fans and athletes do not want officiating to be fully automated.
That takes the fun away.
That sucks the soul out of sports. However, challenge systems like the ABS are tools to keep the games fair and to just minimize on the human error. It doesn't automate it. It doesn't take a lot of time.
And they only have two.
Yeah, they have two. If they get it wrong, it's stripped away. If they get it right, cool, they got it right. It's been 15 seconds, you change a number, you go on.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry, Jay, you look like you got something to say there.
I mean, programming isn't also 100% proof either. ABS is going to make mistakes as well.
Yeah.
There will be a reading error.
Mm-hmm. Like there was in the last couple of days, there was a challenged call where, in a weird turn of events, ABS was right, but the umpire was also probably right. Because here's the thing. ABS, great system, but it's got its issues.
Yeah.
It uses a stagnant strike zone. It uses the same strike zone for every pitch. However, by the rule book, umpires are supposed to change their mind's eye strike zone based on the player currently up to bat. So
every batter has a different strike
zone. Right? Vladdy Guerrero's strike zone is going to be different than a Mike Trout, than a Cal Raleigh, right?
So then, and this is just the trial year, and they're probably going to tweak it next year, even during the year. They just have to find a way to adjust the strike zone according to the person.
I mean, there's one really easy way of doing this between the downtimes between the games is just have every player practice swings and you film it and you just know their strike zone.
Yeah. So I understand I understand the viewpoint of some umpires of they don't want the ABS system to take away from them. But it's not going to. It is an imperfect system but it is doing the right thing of just creating the extra safety net and giving agency to the players on the diamond to be like, hey, I think that was a BS call. I'd like to challenge it, instead of prior years where if you say anything, you get ejected.
Right?
Right? So for you to be an umpire and to not look at the system as a benefit is sickening to me.
If I was an ump, I would take it as a learning curve. No?
Exactly.
Hey, I'm just saying, coming from a cricket point of view, if your sport is synonymous with, if you're not cheating, you're losing, you need the ABS.
Right? Umpires have had so much power and so much almost kind of a dictatorship over calling strikes and balls and just chucking players and managers out for the slightest of inconveniences. this is holding them accountable finally.
As well as, I'm not gonna lie, if the umps had that much power, it's very easy to pay one off.
Exactly. I think there was a statistic. This is going to be really funny. Umpires who are, I think it was over the age of 40. So the older umpires, the longer tenured ones, the success rate of ABS challenges against them is something like 64%. The younger umpires, so
40 and
40 and
below.
below, the success rate is 36%.
So what is it, 40?
Where I don't know which side it's covered in. You caught me there, Miggy. I will punch you later for it. But regardless, this ABS system is really outing some of these older umpires in their kind of power-hungry ways.
As well as, I'm sorry, but your eyesight gets worse the older you are.
That's the other thing, right?
Get glasses.
Right? You're stuck in your old ways. You like, as with any athlete or any person, your performance declines with age. I'm not saying fire all the old umps. I'm just saying maybe
fucking give them Meta Ray-Bans.
Yeah, like
with the strike zone.
Like maybe instead of them being behind home plate, put them in more like umpire training positions where they can still technically work as umpires, but give their insight to the younger generation of umpires coming up. And it's also the younger generation who's way more accepting of this ABS challenge system because, like you mentioned earlier, Miggy, it makes them better.
Yep.
Right?
Here's a very revolutionary idea that's never going to be implemented in the MLB. As I said earlier, give them fucking Meta Ray-Bans. Augmented reality is already a thing, and it is fucking out of the park.
Right?
If you don't want the ABS challenge to be that overpowering, wear fucking augmented reality glasses with a strike zone in front of the batter so you know if the ball was inside or outside.
Right. So the ABS being at such a high success rate shows that it was needed. And I think that the MLB, I still think that the MLB is going to come out better with it. And umpiring as a career, if you want to put it, I think comes out better from this. Because it actually gives umpires a higher baseline of expected performance.
At the same time, though, yes, it's high. Like, we weren't expecting 50%.
No.
But it also shows, yes, it's needed, but it's not needed for the sport to continue.
No.
Kind of deal.
No.
Like, the umpires are still doing their jobs. It's just that sometimes the umpire sees something, the catcher and the batter see something else, they feel like it was a wrong call. You're allowed to challenge. Cricket, you're able to challenge. Basketball, football, you can challenge. Hockey, you can challenge.
Every sport known to man, you can challenge except for MLB.
Well,
until this year, right?
They have their challenge.
Yeah.
I don't find it a bad thing. Now, I know people who find it a bad thing because they say, oh, it's going to make the game longer. They put the pitch clock in to solve that, and it's 15 seconds.
I'm sorry, but if you can't wait, maybe 3 minutes of game time over the entire game,
there's some challenges.
Are you losing millions?
There's some challenges in NHL, and me and Chris saw it on the Nashville game against Montreal. It takes up to 10 minutes where they're looking at their tablets and chatting on the headset, and everybody's just waiting. And you're waiting there for 5 to 10 minutes going, what are you guys seeing that we are not? Because they have so many different views that we don't get to see.
Mm-hmm.
So when it takes so long, you're like, okay, this is actually a lot closer than we thought.
And the other thing is that with challenges like that, they're looking at everything.
Oh,
everything. They're not just looking for, did somebody body check somebody's head? No, they're looking for, did your pinky touch his ear?
Yeah.
Right?
Did your pinky toe go over the line before the puck? Did you have even a millimeter of your skate blade on the blue line before, like, all that stuff?
All ABS is looking at is, here's where the system scanned the ball. past whatever 2D plane of the plate. Here's where the ABS is programmed to say if it's in or out, and that's all it's looking for.
Yeah.
It's a ball or strike. That's it.
Miggy, I remind me to show you a video of a challenge in cricket. A challenge in cricket usually takes 3 to 4 minutes. You know why? They're looking at the ultrasound to see if the ball even so much as scraped the bat.
You got stuff like that.
They're looking for hot spots where the camera is in infrared, and because of the heat signature of ball scraping the bat, it heats up that part of the bat, and you can see it.
That's actually kind of cool.
It's pretty sick. So I try to be accepting of all opinions.
Yeah.
But to those out there who say that the ABS system is making the games too long, genuinely shut up.
Y'all don't know shit. Also, there's only one Elon Musk that loses millions in seconds.
The MLB has needed this. Umpiring will come out better for it, and your game isn't going to be any longer.
They dealt with that with the pitch clock.
You're middle of the innings. It takes longer for players to run out onto the diamond than it takes for them to get through an ABS challenge. So,
like, put your mouth up your ass. I swear to God.
But irregardless, I really do hope. I think that the MLB will keep this.
Yeah, I honestly think it doesn't change much. It gives the players a chance to finally go, look, this was a bad call. I feel like it's going to take away from a lot of players getting kicked out because a lot of them were losing their heads at some of these calls, and now they just get to tap their head and challenge the call. So with that, I find it'll be fine. Now, I think we've talked enough about MLB.
I will save my energy for that for another time.
How about basketball?
March Madness is closing on the finale. On the men's side and on the women's side, we're into the Final Four. So for the men's, it is a 2-seed UConn versus a 3-seed Illinois. And on the other side, it is a 1st-seed Arizona and a 1st-seed Michigan. So at the end of this tournament, it is top teams getting through. There was a development of a Cinderella story with the 11th seed Texas.
Yeah.
But they were knocked out in the Sweet 16 by Purdue.
And then Purdue got knocked out.
Then Purdue promptly got knocked out in the Elite 8 round. So no Cinderella stories on the men's side. Those 2 games will take place on April 4th. And the men's final will be April 6th. Now on the women's side, my statement of the top making it through, even more accurate.
All 1 seeds.
All 1 seeds. UConn, South Carolina, UCLA, Texas. All 4 1 seeds.
1.
All 4 1 seeds made it through.
Whoever did the ranking for the women got it spot on.
They were right there. They were right there. I also like the women's side because my prediction for who wins the tournament is still in.
Oh, who do you have winning?
I have UCLA winning the women's side.
Okay.
On the men's side, I had Gonzaga winning.
Yeah,
they got knocked out pretty quickly. I think they got knocked out by Texas, if I remember correctly. So, Texas, you kind of ruined my bracket. Mind you, I have a bit of bias towards Gonzaga because I have actually made a trip to the Gonzaga campus and got basketball training and played in a club tournament that was held by sort of like the Gonzaga coaching
so
staff.
It holds a little spot in your heart.
Yeah. Like I've never, I didn't go to Gonzaga. I have never lived there. I have no reason other than the fact that I've been to the Gonzaga campus and I've played basketball there. But it holds a bit of a special place in my heart as kind of a place that I've reached during my own sort of basketball play. Irregardless, they're not going to win. Out of the 4 men's teams that are still in, I'm pretty sure Arizona's going to win it.
You look confident.
Arizona has been mauling teams.
Just gnawing them one by one?
predicted that Arizona would have been the 1 seed to be knocked out in the first round. And I think they saw my bracket specifically and took offense to it. So I think UConn beats Illinois. I think Arizona beats Michigan. I think Arizona beats UConn in the final. That's my non-official bracket prediction for this Final Four. Now on the women's side, I still think UCLA wins this. I think they beat Texas and they beat whoever's on the other side to come through. UConn, South Carolina, I have no fucking clue. I have no idea what's going to happen in that game.
You think it's going to be a close one?
It's 4-1 seeds. I think it's all going to be close. Are you kidding me? So, very, very fun. March Madness. I mean, it's always fun when there's a Cinderella story, but it's also fun when it's all the top teams. So, the women's Final Four is going to be on April 3rd. And their final is going to be on April 5th. So, but from the 3rd to the 6th of April, it's going to be some good basketball. Yeah. It's going to be some good college hoops. I want to swing back to the NBA quickly. Some key injuries.
Oh, here we go.
To keep an eye on as we approach the end of the regular season. Nick Vucevic for Boston. He's expected to be back April 5th.
Which is just before the playoffs.
Which is just before the end of the season. Now, Boston is, like I've said probably a dozen times this episode, is already a great team. Top 2 in the East. Tatum is getting back in form. Vucevic is an all-star caliber center. The fact that Boston still isn't at full strength
is terrifying.
Is horrifying. Cade Cunningham. He's expected to be back April 8th for Detroit, which will be right before the end of the regular season. So he should be back and at least mostly healthy to start the playoffs for the Pistons, which they desperately need. Detroit is another team that's really good even without their star player, but they need him if they want to get anywhere in the playoffs. He runs that team. He makes them good. Stephen Curry is expected to be back April 2nd. So
the day of release of this episode.
Yeah, 2 days from now when this episode is released. Golden State's already guaranteed a playing spot. Having Steph Curry back will help them so much.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if they want to get through that play-ins tournament and get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards actually made his return this past week.
Yeah, no one thought he was back for at least the playoffs.
Everybody was expecting that he'd be on the same timeline as Cade Cunningham, sort of be back in about a week or sort of going into the playoffs. But no, he was back yesterday, as a matter of fact. I don't quite remember what the final score was or anything, but I do remember he came back and he scored 17 points in his return. So
they're probably still managing his workload because of his knee and just making sure everything's all right.
Yeah, I think him being back soon is more a case of him as a person not wanting to sit. Like he's probably healthy. I mean, not probably. He is healthy enough to play, but I'm pretty sure medical staff would have wanted him to sit up for another week. But I think this is more a case of your star player wants to play and wants to help your team. Last injury I want to keep an eye on is Franz Wagner for the Orlando Magic. He's supposed to be back tomorrow, April 1st. He is a big key player for Orlando. Orlando's been slumping recently. So with him back, hopefully that team gets a bit of momentum going into the playoffs and play-ins. Mind you, I hope they don't get too much momentum because they're one of the teams that are the biggest risk. The Raptors, the greatest risk of knocking the Raptors down. But for Orlando fans out there, having Franz Wagner back would be big.
So having him back on April 1st, or they just get a really mean April Fools?
Yeah, so those are the injuries that I'm going to be keeping on. Games to watch this week. Not a whole lot of really important games. which is kind of disappointing here in the last week and a half of the schedule. Regardless, tonight, it's already over. Detroit versus Toronto. Detroit came out with the win. Toronto nearly came back in the fourth quarter. They made a decent run and were pushing, but Detroit won that game. Tomorrow night, Atlanta versus Orlando.
Middle of the pack.
Middle of the pack, Eastern Conference. Think they're 2 games separated by each other. Thursday, Lakers versus OKC. Lakers are 3rd in the West. OKC is 1st in the West.
Top teams.
Out. The Lakers win. They solidify their top 3 spot. OKC needs to win this to keep ahead of the Spurs.
Yeah, because they're on a run.
They are on their tail. Speaking of the Spurs, Saturday, Spurs versus Denver. West 2 seed versus West 4 seed. Same kind of idea as the Lakers OKC game. San Antonio wants to win this, climb closer to OKC. Denver wants to win this, climb closer to the Lakers for that 3rd seed. The last game that I have for this week is Sunday, Toronto versus Boston. Boston wants this win just because they're close enough to Detroit that they can fight for that 1st seed. Toronto, my team, really needs this.
They want to stay out of the play-in.
I genuinely am not entirely sure if the Raptors are knocked down into the play-ins. I'm anxious of them making it through to the playoffs. Because the teams that are currently in the play-ins are younger, streakier teams that can pull a win just about out of anywhere on a given night. They're not consistent, and they're middle of the pack. They're middle of the East, so they're not great, but they're teams that time and time again can surprise you. So I'm not super confident of if the Raptors get knocked into that 7 through 10 seed, if they actually make it out of that. But other than that, I got nothing more for the NBA and basketball.
Montreal. I do want to talk quickly before we talk about the games to watch, because unlike you, I have a ton.
Oh, yeah.
Golden Knight might be the most ruthless organization. They fired Bruce Cassidy after their team is currently in the playoffs and has 8 games left, and hired Tortorella as head coach. We'll see how that affects the team during the 8 remaining games and the playoffs if they are still in it. The Leafs let go of GM Brad Treliving. A lot of people will agree with me when I say this. About time. The Leafs will have to retool. The desk people, I call them. Well, it's what it is.
Yeah.
The management of the Leafs organization is set to talk with Matthews in the following...
The suits is what I call them.
Yeah. In the following weeks to say how this organization is going. They are either retooling or rebuilding, which personally kind of sounds the same to me. I know there's a difference because retooling, you take your young prospects and your picks and you go get the guys that can get you the win right away. Meanwhile, the rebuild is kind of the opposite. You take your old guys that can give you picks and young guys and you ship them off for the young guys. It's kind of the same scenario, just flipped around.
Yeah.
Now, games to watch for the NHL. Tuesday, which is today. I will not say who won or who lost. We can keep that for later date. Carolina versus Columbus. Again, Eastern interdivisional matchup. Dallas versus Boston. Dallas needs to just keep getting points to solidify that number 2. I don't think Minnesota's going to catch up, and I don't think Dallas is going to catch up to Avalanche. So I'm pretty sure that Central Division is kind of locked against a Boston team that needs the wins. Islanders versus Buffalo. Buffalo is kind of in a little bit of a slump right now. They lost their last 2 or 3 games. They kind of need the win to keep the momentum going so that Montreal and Tampa Bay don't catch up to them. Islanders, tough fight in that division right now, in that Metro division. And then Montreal and Tampa Bay, number 2, number 3 in the Atlantic. This game could mean a lot, and they do play against each other later down the road.
Mm.
Wednesday, Anaheim versus San Jose. Anaheim, again, weaker Pacific Division. They need the wins to get the number 1 seed and stay in the number 1 seed. San Jose has fallen off, so they need the win so that they can stay in the playoff contention. Thursday, Nashville, LA. Nashville is in the wildcard 2 spot. If I'm not mistaken, LA is just under them. And both of them need the points so that they can try to get into the playoff. Columbus versus Carolina. Again, interdivisional game. Both need the points. Carolina right now are sitting at a comfortable 100 points, but they are still being tagged by Pittsburgh, and Columbus and New York Islanders keep switching all three of them. Friday, Philly versus Islanders. Again, Islanders need the point, but Philly also needs the point to try to pull a miracle to make it into this very tightly contested Eastern Conference play wildcard spot. Saturday, Boston, Tampa. Again, divisional. Tampa needs the win to kind of stay ahead of Montreal. Although, as I see it now, I feel like Montreal and Tampa Bay are going to catch the first round together, unless Montreal keeps this hot run and takes number 1 from Buffalo. Boston needs the point just to keep, again, the miracle alive. Carolina and Columbus play against each other again, so needless to say, very important. Vegas and Edmonton play each other again. They played each other last week. Carolina and Ottawa. Ottawa needs the win to continue the push. Boston, Philly, they both need points to continue the push. Boston right now is in the wild card. Philly is, I think, 3 points out. And then Monday, top of the Atlantic Division, as of right now, Tampa Bay versus Buffalo. Big games.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now, if we go to the PWHL, Wednesday, April 1st and Friday, April 3rd. I picked to follow the Charge this week because they are fighting for that number 4 playoff spot.
Right.
The Charge are versus the Scepters. And I remember last episode, very important game because those two are fighting against each other to get that number 4 playoff spot. Now, if I'm an Ontarian, I would not even focus on NHL. I would maybe keep track of Ottawa because they might make it in the playoffs.
They're only 2 points out.
Yep. Friday, the Charger versus Montreal. This is a tough game. If they win against the Scepters, they could maybe afford to lose this game, but they should go in the mentality this week that they need to win both these games.
Yeah.
Other than that, for hockey, I got nothing. Now, if we go to MLB real quick, just to say the games. So tomorrow we're against the Rockies again. Gosman's pitching.
Yep, that'll be the conclusion of their 3-game series.
Yeah. Thursday we're against the White Sox. Cease is pitching. The rest of the games so far, as of now, no pitchers has been declared. So Saturday against the White Sox, Sunday against the White Sox, Monday and Tuesday versus the Dodgers. So the Dodgers will be a fun time. They will be our first true test, I feel, in the beginning of the season.
What a schedule flip.
Yeah.
You go 9 games against weak teams, and then you have a rematch series.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Now, we have our hometown heroes.
Our homeboys.
We went to a game.
Finally.
It was pretty fun. Now,
I mean, it was your first lacrosse game ever.
No. It was my first Rush game.
Ah, that's fine.
I used to watch my cousins play lacrosse every once in a while when they were in town. When I was down in Quebec.
Mm.
So, Rush, sadly, they were up 7-4. And we lost 8-7. We dropped to second, but we still have a clinch playoff spot. So, I'm not too worried. Now, Nassau was unstoppable in those face-offs.
I don't think we saw him on the court outside of the face-offs.
He must have lost 2 out of like the 20 something.
He was 90+%, and
it was crazy.
It wasn't close. It was like watching a tiny Chihuahua go against a pit bull, and just constantly like snapping his ankles and grabbing the chew toy away from him. Now, like that guy is feisty. Yeah.
Now back in week 8, if I'm not mistaken, Colorado was number 2. They have dropped down to number 4. Vancouver has made their way to number 1. So a lot has changed in that. Now, the Rush don't play this week. They have a week off. And then they play in week 20.
Yeah. The Buffalo Bandits, who the Rush lost to, that was actually a really...
They're number 5, I think.
Yeah, that was a big win for them.
I don't remember who's number 3.
Number 3 currently is a tie between the Georgia Swarm and the Colorado Mammoth. Okay. Both of them are at 10-5. The Rush are at 11-5, and the Vancouver Warriors are 11-4.
Okay, so first spot is still up for grabs.
First spot in seeding still up for grabs. Vancouver Warriors have clinched a playoff spot. Saskatchewan Rush have clinched a playoff spot, and the Colorado Mammoth have clinched a playoff spot. Curiously, though, the Georgia Swarm, who have the same record as the Colorado Mammoth, haven't clinched a playoff spot yet. It's a little curious. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. At the bottom of the league, we have the Calgary Roughnecks, the Oshawa Firewolves, and the Philadelphia Wings. All at the bottom.
2 of those are eliminated.
Yes. The Calgary Roughnecks are 4-11, eliminated. Oshawa Firewolves, 4-11, not eliminated. Philadelphia Wings, 4-12, eliminated. So I'm not sure if
there must be some divisional.
Yeah, I can't find it right now, but there's probably some sort of divisional ranking system that they also use for sort of guaranteed playoff spots. Regardless, our hometown boys
are clinched.
They're clinched. They're guaranteed a spot. They're just fighting for that top spot now.
Now, Blades.
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs. We got playoff hockey right now. It's not the NHL, but we take it.
I would take competitive hockey any day.
You know what else we're going to take? Game 1. We took game 1, 3-2. Tight game. It's all right. We lost game 2, 4-3 in overtime. Losing a game in overtime in playoff does not upset me.
No.
Because that means it is tight. We were right there. We just made the one mistake in OT, or they just got the upper hand in OT and got us.
Here's the other thing. The Saskatoon Blades are the underdogs in this series. So they were away for these 2 games and stole a game and kept the other game very close.
Yeah.
I'm proud. Yep. I'm happy with this.
Now they play tonight.
Yeah.
Home field. Let's hope for a win. Now here is the WHL playoffs, because I knew you were going to ask, and I wanted to come prepared. The Everett are up 2-0 against Portland. Kelowna is up 2-0 against Kamloops. Yep. Prince George is up 3-0 against Spokane. Whatever. Penticton is up 2-0 against Seattle. Regina versus Medicine Hat is tied at 1. Edmonton and Saskatoon is tied at 1. Calgary's up 2-0 against Brandon. And Prince Albert is up 2-0 against Red Deer. So there is a lot of one-sided playoffs. Prince George has a chance of sweeping. The only ones that are kind of tightly contested is Regina, Medicine Hat, and Edmonton, and our boys Saskatoon. So it will have to keep updated on that. So without further ado, we shall send you to Mr. J.
All right, folks. I don't have much for you guys today, but I do have enough. Now, we'll start this off slow and happy. IPL did start on March 28th. 4 matches have already gone by. Now, keep in mind, this is a 70-match tournament before playoffs.
IPL's cricket, right?
Cricket. Indian Premier League.
Okay.
One of the biggest tournaments there is.
Is that 70 game per team?
No, that's 70 games total.
Okay.
it's a total of I think 7 games per team because
And they're just trying to find ranking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's still a lot of
until
cricket.
playoffs, which will consist of 8 teams.
Okay.
That's a lot of cricket.
Yeah. 4 matches have happened already. Sunrisers Hyderabad versus Royal Challengers Bangalore. Bangalore takes the win with 6 wickets and 26 balls left. Second match, Kolkata Knight Riders versus Mumbai Indians. Mumbai Indians take the win by 6 wickets and 5 balls left. Third match, Chennai Super Kings, the kings of the old age. Now this is a team that has taken 3 championships in a row.
We got a dynasty is what you're talking about.
They got cooked.
Goliath showed up and David said, "Not in my house, you don't."
Essentially, as Rajasthan Royals beat them with 8 wickets left and 47 balls left.
That's 8 overs.
Uh-huh. Now, Rajasthan Royals have procured the youngster that I talked about in the earlier episodes.
Oh, yes.
In his first game this season, he scored a half century in 17 balls.
Oh. You had 50 and 17?
He had a total of 53 runs in 17 balls.
Yeesh. He averaged like 3.5 runs per ball, is what you're trying to tell me.
He cooked their shit.
Oh, boy.
Now, he's still not the top 5, run scorers in these four matches, as Rohit Sharma, India's one-day cricket legend, is in form with 78 runs in his first match.
Yeesh.
One of the imports that Mumbai Indians have scored 81 runs. So, Virat Kohli, the former captain of Indian cricket team, scored, I think, 64, if I'm right. So, there are some high-scoring cricketers still there, but Vaibhav Suryavanshi, brother, he is showing them up. 15-year-old and cooking international cricketers.
That's insane. At 15 years old, I don't even know what I was doing.
High school?
Well, yes.
I mean, this kid is already is acing his high school as well. He's in the top 10%. He's just built different.
He's just the man.
Now, coming on to League Esports.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't much happening last week. Only the LEC has started.
Yeah, because they're all the teams are going back to their domestic leagues after
the international. I talked about it last episode. BLG won the international. So a total of 7 matches have happened in LEC. Vitality are 1-1. Could have been 2-0. But they threw game 2 against Carmen Corp while being 5-man up with Baron, and the enemy team aced.
Oh, they just couldn't end the game. Okay.
They just chose not to end the game. They could have ended the game. They chose not to end the game and took third dragon.
Oh, yes. Yes, you were telling me about this earlier. What's more important? Nexus? Soul Point. Soul Point.
So it's the classic meme of stopping before you hit the diamond mine.
Yeah.
The game scores are looking as expected, except for one where Navi beat MKOI.
Huh. 2-0 or 2-1?
2-1.
Okay.
Pogster, my greatest of some time, my ghost, showed up. Now, the other leagues are going to be going in full blow starting this week. LCK starts tomorrow, technically, 2 a.m. here.
Yeah, like 4 hours from now.
Yeah. This better not be an April Fool's, because it is Hanwha Life and Bro for the first match. And if Bro wins
3-0. I'm telling you now, Bro wins 3-0.
I swear to God.
The Bros are gonna clap.
It would be the greatest It would be the greatest April Fools ever. LPL starts Saturday, and as well as LCS.
Yeah.
So there's not much for league. Now we come to F1.
The greatest of crashes and crash outs.
My recent reason for having gray hair.
Yeah, I see one or two in there.
Oh, just
AK
just start combing through them there.
AK Antonelli, Kimi Antonelli, taking another first place back to back after China. Surprisingly, Oscar Piastri taking second in McLaren, who did not start until this race.
I was about to say, it's like I thought they were still having issues.
They were.
Still are.
They still
That's why
are,
it's a surprise.
supposedly.
That's why
So it's a surprising second place. Ferrari coming in third with Leclerc. And Russell, George Russell, failing to live up to his name as the Briton. Or Brighton. I don't know how the fuck
I was like, how do you fail to live up to the name Britain? You just say what and beans.
But coming in fourth, and of course blaming everyone but himself, as he blamed the yellow flag and safety car that came.
Stroll. Right?
No.
I'm right.
No.
You're not?
No, you're not.
Oh, man.
Bierman
Ah, of course.
from Haas
Yeah.
went into... Actually, Stroll as well.
I was half right.
You're half right. Both of them did not finish the race as they ran into the barriers.
You don't get a point, but you'll get a brownie point.
That man, I got brownies in the fridge. That's good enough for me. I honestly thought you were about to say they ran into each other.
I was hoping.
Oh, man.
Verstappen coming in 8th. Yeah, they be struggling.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now,
The face of your sport is barely in the top half of...
Verstappen did say in the interviews that Red Bull is fighting for the midfield. They are not looking at podiums this season whatsoever.
Isn't that just them admitting that they've just given up?
I mean, with these regulations, it is impossible. It is impossible. For anyone other than Mercedes to win. Like, keep in mind, Verstappen had the fastest lap in the Australian GP, and he placed 6th.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've been saying it pretty much every episode, but is it the FIA?
FIA.
They have got to figure out something.
I mean,
because they're about to have the same thing that the WNBA had, and their cash cow leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, if qualifying is supposed to be, the ultimate test of the driver skill and all-out car performance, then F1 Saturday afternoon in Suzuka, Japan are far removed from the act. Like, the power unit compromises that they made yielded some action-packed racing for the, bystander.
Mm-hmm.
But it, in my honest opinion, destroyed the essence of the qualifying lap. Of pushing pedal to the metal, going fast as you can, and getting the fastest time possible. With the new 50-50 split, the drivers are having to go slower in the corners to keep the pace for the straights. That is honestly going completely against the entirety of since F1 was created, because up until this year, since F1 was created, cornering and keeping the speed out of the corner so that you don't have to accelerate as much and can get to your top speed on the straights was the point.
Well, I mean, with the new regulations, it's a completely different sport.
It's not F1 anymore.
No.
You have
F2.
to... It's worse. It's FE.
Yeah.
You have to slow down in the corners to charge your battery so you can go top speed on the straights.
But there are some times in some sports where would be welcoming to sort of innovation and new ideas, but this feels like an idea that is just constantly showing time and time again that it is just lowering performance and taking all of the agency away from the drivers.
And like a very popular name, Carlos Sainz, said this in an interview that he was a bit disappointed in qualifying as the more he pushed, the slower he went.
Driving should not be backwards like that. It should never be that.
And that basically simply because he spent more time at full throttle and because he went faster in the corners, the super clipping came into deployment, and he lost top speed in the straights. Like, this is overall not good enough, he thinks, for F1.
A sport that has advertised for its entire lifespan of speed, pushing limits, setting records, this is just a step back. Yeah. There is no step to the side, small. No, this is a giant step back.
They went from Daredevil to just Dare.
Yeah.
Like, the only team that isn't fighting against FIA for this is Mercedes.
Well, yeah, because they're at the top.
Mm-hmm.
They have no
like
reason
even
for this to change.
even Lewis Hamilton, who is mostly quiet and is more PR trained, is essentially saying that this is going to result in a lot of chefs in the kitchen, and nothing good comes out with having too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah, like you've got your racers who are these 5-star chefs, but you're giving them crap quality ingredients.
Because, like, now I did not know this until earlier today. Drivers are not in control of when the electric motor kicks in.
Yeah.
It kicks in on its own through machine learning.
I don't like that.
So what you're telling me is they've essentially already half automated F1 racing because it's AI taking control of dictating
of essentially 50 kilometers an hour of when you get it and when you don't.
I don't like that at all.
I mean, after our conversation of ABS and all of that automation, I'm kind of baffled that that's even a thing.
Now, Sainz also said this, that because they don't have control over this, what happens when it rains?
You get 2/3 of the field that don't finish the race.
Like, what happens when you're cornering and your AI decides that, hey, you need that extra 50 kilometers an hour out of that corner during wet terrain?
Then you hydroplane into the barrier.
Then you hydroplane outside of the barrier. You don't walk away from that crash.
Well, I mean, I guess you get more use out of the halo. Even though that's not the point.
Like, you go flying over the barriers into the crowd with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're totally going to have to make sure we keep track of that because, like I said, I don't like that one bit. The fact that they can't control their speed, they're coming out of these corners, and they're going fast even without the 50-kilometer difference.
Mm-hmm. Even without the 50 kilometers the electric motor provides, they're still going about 280, 290.
Yeah.
No, these are speeds that normal people cannot even comprehend.
Yeah.
We think,
you go 120 on a highway and you go, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, you go 120 kilometers an hour and I'm out, but like 120 kilometers an hour and you're going, oh wow, this is fast. If I turn too hard, I'm gonna flip my car. These guys are going 300 miles per hour.
No, kilometers.
Or no, kilometers, okay. Maybe a little bit of an exaggeration. But point is, triple the speed that any normal street vehicle is going at its max is what they're going
minimum. Like, they're taking these corners at 160 minimum.
Yeah. So the fact that you're like you said, Miggy, the fact you're taking control away from the drivers at speeds this susceptible to mistakes is not a good look.
Right? As well as, like, now with Japan, they did change it from 9 megajoules to 8 megajoules of battery needing to recharge. So the power split realistically went from 50-50 to 55-45.
Okay.
And it looked a bit better. So there's no one voting going further against it. Just keep making the power split more on the combustion.
Yeah.
75-25 right now. Do it.
I mean, a lot of people would be happier.
Yeah.
And Sainz also said this in an interview that honestly, he doesn't mind being 1 or 2 seconds slower overall if the, and like, going 5 to 10 kilometers slower overall. He just doesn't want to immediately lose 50 kilometers.
Well, yeah.
He wants the deployment to be more consistent.
Right? That's the thing, right?
It's more predictable now.
Again, that's the control and agency that you're taking away from these guys. If you can't predict what's going to happen at 300 clicks,
you're fucked.
You're going to lose your head. That is just science.
Right? Now, we come to the drama portion of F1 because obviously the sport needs drama.
Yeah, more.
Right? Media day, Thursday, last week, before the race. Verstappen asked a reporter to leave the room, as the same reporter, after the championship race, where Verstappen lost to Lando Norris last year,
Okay.
by a few points, asked a question of if Verstappen regretted his decision in Barcelona, where he intentionally ran into George Russell to save 2 points.
For our listeners, air quotes.
Intentionally. And the thing is, Verstappen had already been asked this question like 20 times up to this point. Now, doing this after he loses the championship.
Salt on a wound, oil in the fire.
As well as him objectively having the worse car than Norris. Like, McLaren had the best car last year.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
Oh.
And he was so close to winning that championship with an objectively worse car. So it's already stinging him. And you're doing this, and then as Verstappen described during that, after that interview, that the reporter was grinning while asking that question. So it was clearly done with malicious intent.
So he did it to make sure that Verstappen would feel it.
Oh, yeah, no.
That question was asked with malicious intent.
It wasn't for educational purpose. It was more for like...
It wasn't for journalism.
Yeah.
It was to make a Snyder mark.
Yeah.
So, and this in Japan was the first time after that incident that Verstappen had met this reporter in person.
Okay.
And asked him to leave, and said that he would not be answering any question if that person was present in the room.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Now, Verstappen got a lot of backlash for this, especially from the media.
Of course, because media protects media.
Right? And they said, we will be boycotting Verstappen. Now, I'm going to hold your hand as I say this. Verstappen would want nothing but that.
You are doing him a favor. Keep doing it. Boycott him.
He probably got exactly what he wanted.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the less he has to deal with, shitty reporters, the more he can focus on driving, which is exactly what he'd want to do anyways.
Exactly. Now he doesn't have to do interviews.
Yeah.
Now, Verstappen said this as a response to all of this flack that he got. I get asked a lot of questions as I am the most vocal.
Yes.
A lot of stupid questions as well. And I answer them. That's fine. That's part of F1. But in this particular case, it was clearly done with bad intent. For me, it is very clear that it was done in a disrespectful way. And I will not stand for it. I have no need to respect this reporter if he did not respect me.
I see nothing wrong in his statement, honestly.
In the sport world, a journalist and an athlete need to have respect between each other for it to work.
Oh, yeah.
The minute that respect is taken away or not used properly, that's when everything goes to hell. The fact that, one, the journalist did it with malintent and knew that it was malintended is wrong.
Mhm.
How Verstappen handled it, in my opinion, is more than okay.
It is about as respectful and as
Confrontational.
as it gets.
Yeah.
And people still lost their goddamn minds over it.
But people need to understand that journalists will get the respect that they get from athletes by the respect they give athletes.
Absolutely.
Right? Now, Verstappen is the first person to call bullshit. Because when Lewis was getting,
Berated
by the journalists, Verstappen essentially took the mic and said, "Can y'all shut the fuck up on live television?" He took a massive penalty for it too. He took like a 50,000 euro fine for it,
Oh no.
paying out of his pocket. So he was like, he essentially just said, "We've answered too many of these fucking questions. If you're not gonna ask properly, don't."
Yeah. After a while, even athletes.
And you could see, Lewis just smiling under
Yeah.
his like.
But like even athletes in the NBA, any league, like the cricket league, the rugby league, soccer, football, basketball, NHL, you can only ask a athlete
one question so many times.
After a while, like you see them get frustrated, and I understand it because like that's like me asking you what you had for supper 7 times in half an hour.
Right?
Like I got chicken. What'd you have for supper?
Chicken.
What'd you have for supper?
It hasn't changed.
Chicken. What'd you have for? You want to maybe stop? Ask me what
I don't know your mom.
Right.
So completely justified. Now, as I said earlier during my rant about these engines, Alonso agrees.
Yeah.
Fernando Alonso said that the corners of Suzuka that were the most challenging of this track turned into a battery charging station. Like, defending corners was the main point of Suzuka. Now nobody's overtaking in the corners because they want to charge their battery for the straight.
It's kind of taking the competitive out of it.
Well, it's the artificially produced competitiveness where you're rubber banding.
Slingshotting all the time.
The corners were always the most exciting though for me.
Yeah, because
in previous years, because
that's where the drama happened on the track.
Because you take all of this speed and you focus it in, you slow it down, and you give these drivers 1 3/4 seconds
to make a split decision.
Make a decision
of just going or letting them go.
And commit.
Yeah.
That was the interesting stuff. I don't care about this speed versus speed. I'll go watch a drag race for that. For God's sake.
I'll go watch NASCAR.
Right? Formula 1 is supposed to be high speed cornering.
Yep.
That's its selling point. And they are actively moving away from that.
I mean, I showed you a clip of how the engine sounded during the corners to you yesterday. It's not F1.
No. Like you said, we're moving to FE. Like we're just it's just electric vehicles.
Thank you for the sound effect because all of the drivers are calling this Mario Kart.
Like they need to go back to the high intensity cornering because that's what made F1 so entertaining. Like
Alonso said that he has no fun racing anymore. Verstappen after the race said, "I'm not gonna do any interviews. I need to think about life."
So yeah, they have their top guys.
One of the oldest, longest tenured guys on the grid is saying, I'm not having fun. I might as well retire. Is essentially what he's saying. Your face of the sport,
cash cow,
is so internally disappointed with the sport that he doesn't even want to actively participate in the outside of race stuff because he has to actually sit down with himself and go, "Is this still
what the fuck am I doing with my life?"
You're making a mistake. Like these are hazard lights. These are red flashing sirens blaring.
Now-
This is you gotta do something different.
Now, a lot of the people are saying that Verstappen is just being very vocal because he's not winning. Now, guys, keep in mind, Verstappen had 10 race wins in his career before 2021, before these new regulations started to come in. He was not complaining then.
No.
The car still had an 85-15 split post 2013. He came into F1 with the 85-15 split. Like, he's not
These complaints aren't from
not winning.
Yeah, it's not from a foundation of not winning.
Like, he objectively won 2 years in a row with, on paper and in performance, worse car than the other teams.
Mm.
Like 2021, he had the worse car than Mercedes, and he won that championship. He stole that championship from Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you watch those races of 2021, and you know what F1 is. Like, that competitiveness was insane.
Yeah.
2023, he won 19 out of 22 races in the Red Bull car. Like, he objectively had the best car.
Yeah.
He was still complaining about those regulations and DRS, as he did not like the direction where F1 was heading. This was him when he was winning everything.
Yeah.
Like, this man is not one to complain without reason. Now, you do get Mad Max on the grid sometimes.
But I mean, like, right, like that's just competitiveness coming.
Yeah.
So basically, F1's going into a dark time.
Oh yeah.
Unless they heed the warning signs that everyone is showing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, F1, you better do something.
Mm-hmm. That's
Jay,
all I have.
You got it? All right. Miggy, you got anything else?
I'm good for the night.
All right. Well.
All right, I'm deep throating the mic.
Hey. No. We respect the mic. We respect the audience.